Thursday night football, week 10. Here we go with this Thursday night football, I said. Guys, can you believe it's week 10 already? I mean, it's time's just flying by. I think the earth's spinning faster. I wake up every morning, my hair's parted to the side. Joe, how's it going over there on your side of the studio, my friend?
John, it's going great, and time is flying by pretty fast, man. I mean, it is insane, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I gotta say this, that week 10 snuck up on me. I mean, we're at week 10. So 6 weeks after this week to go, you know, and we're talking championship type stuff, and playoffs are starting, okay? So I'm just saying, Joe, it's craziness, my friend. Craziness, I said.
The playoffs, John. The playoffs?
Playoffs?
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I have some playoff teams. You guys got to tune in, and they might surprise you.
Really?
Really, man. I really hope you're watching the show tonight.
Ian, you got to be watching the show tonight. So anyway, with that being said, guys, we do. I'm just let you guys know this right now. We do have producer Dave in the studio tonight. Producer Dave, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good, guys. How you guys are doing? I think I have a camera somewhere behind me.
He does have a camera behind.
There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, the one and only producer Dave in the house.
Yeah.
Working hard for us. So Dave's going to be keeping track of all the platforms. And you guys know we're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on multiple Facebook pages. We're just getting it done. So, I mean, welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, just let us know. Anybody chimes in, what's going on. And we're going to do our best to keep up with you guys. Joe?
Ian is in the house already.
Ian's in the house.
Ian, my man.
So, Joe, talk to me, man. What'd you think about last week, man?
Last week was crazy, and we saw the Chargers, what they did to the Packers. My God, I think that defense is going to show up tonight. And Ian, since you're watching right now, I'm going to tell you this. The Steelers look good, and their strength of schedule is very easy. And I do agree with you that they probably will get the wild card spot.
Wow.
But I don't think they will win their division. It is possible, but they will get that wild card spot.
That's a bold statement
I
right
mean,
there.
look-
I mean, it is a bold statement, Joe. What's up with that?
I mean, look at their strength of schedule. They're playing the Browns, the Cardinals. I mean, their schedule is actually pretty easy, now. So I think they get that wild card spot. What do you think, Ian? I know he thinks they are.
And I'm relying on Dave keeping us going on that because I'm going to be trying to keep a track of a couple other things that are actually going on. So just, Dave, whenever, interrupt us, chime in, let us know what anybody's saying, and we'll just make sure that we get to them.
Sure thing. Ian agrees, actually. Joe knows, he says.
Joe knows. So you hear that? Ian's back on your side, Joe.
I like it, Ian. I like it. I mean, look, the Steelers are looking good, man. James Conner's coming back. Strength of schedule is pretty easy. They could possibly win their division if the Ravens somehow, fall off. But I do believe the Steelers get that wild card.
I like it. I like it a lot, but I'm not so sure about. Now here's the thing: is that division's obviously not what we expected it to be. So, I mean, it's nothing like we actually thought it was going to be, and the Steelers are actually looking like they're getting something together. And they got a team with a head coach and that's, he's used to winning and he's used to putting together a championship caliber team. So, Ian, you got to be a little bit happy about that.
Yeah, you have to be, Ian. I mean, Mike Tomlin, I feel like he's getting a bad rap as of lately, but I think he's a great coach, to be completely honest with you. A coach that you have to be worried about is the Browns coach, man. I mean, the play calls that guy calls is, I don't understand it. So I think he'll be gone, but the Steelers look good.
The Steelers are looking pretty good. And I haven't even really check to see like what their schedule is, Joe. So, I mean, and to me, that's a
I'll
huge,
check it
huge
right now, man.
factor because to me, that's when you start going, oh, okay, wait a second. I mean, what does their schedule actually look like before we get too, high on them?
I mean, I can tell you right now, John.
Talk to me, Joe.
So, they have a tough game this Sunday against the Rams. But look at now. They got the Browns, who haven't been looking great. The Bengals, who are terrible. The Browns again. I mean, the Cardinals, I think they can win that game. A tough game against the Bills, but then the Jets. I mean, you got 4 easy games I feel like you can win. And then, whoever wins that Steelers-Ravens game the 29th of December, that might be the icebreaker. So.
Yeah. Now, they got a tough – it's really weird. Did you expect, Joe, the Rams to be where they are right now? Did you really expect that, Joe? Because I certainly did not expect the Rams to be where they are right now.
Yeah, I thought they would be a little better, to be honest. The acquisition of Jalen Ramsey, I think, really helps them. But, it's kind of weird, like Goff. I guess he's having, like, that slump now. I mean, Cooks has been injured. So, I mean, we're just going to have to see with the Rams. I really do think they make a run at the now at the end of the season. So, we're going to have to see.
Right. And, I mean, they just got to start. I mean, all the praise to the coaching and the high-powered offense and everything like that. But when you're looking at it right now, Joe, I mean, what in the world happened to the Super Bowl contenders of last year? What in the hell happened, Joe?
I think you have to, Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley just hasn't really been the same Todd Gurley that we saw last season, dominating the football. Sean McVay, maybe he got figured out. I think he's a great head coach, offensive-minded head coach, but he might have got figured out, and Gurley's injuries have, I think, hurt the Rams.
Hey guys, 1 second. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I got a lot of action here going on.
Okay. Go ahead, Dave. Tell us.
I have a couple of questions from a couple of people. They're saying, will you play Montgomery over Gurley?
Montgomery over Gurley. Joe, well, they're going to you on that.
Oh, wow. No. I wouldn't, but I think Montgomery's a great start. Who are the Bears playing? I think Montgomery's a great start because Trubisky can't throw the ball. I mean, I don't think he's a great quarterback, to be completely honest. I think they're a running team, and they rely on their defense, so I'd start either of them, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
Right on. Another question from Travis Dodd. John Brown or Mike Williams?
Oh, I like Mike Williams. I mean, John Brown's a deep threat, but I think Mike Williams, it depends. If you're in PPR, I'm starting Mike Williams. He gets more volume and he catches more passes. John Brown is really fast guy, and he's a deep threat guy. So John Brown might get a 70-yard touchdown, but Mike Williams is going to get a lot of receptions.
All right. A few more. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Dino is asking, will you trade Edelman and Carson for Barkley?
Edelman and Carson for Barkley. So that's a good question, Joe.
That's a good question. Edelman, I don't think he's a great fantasy receiver. I think he's a great receiver in the NFL, but I don't think he's a great fantasy receiver. Chris Carson, really good running back. I do really like Chris Carson. I would do it. I like Barkley, man. Barkley, you see that 60-yard run he had, 50-yard run last game? I mean, Barkley, I think, is Barry Sanders generational type running back if he doesn't get injured. But, I mean, Chris Carson's really good as well. It's on you, man. Personally, I would do it because I'm a huge fan of Saquon Barkley. So.
Well, with that being said, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Barkley too. Guys, think about it and go into the depth of it a little bit. And when I'm saying go into the depth of it a little bit, when you're talking running backs, you're more or less have very few running backs that don't give a ship high in transit. And if you guys don't know what ship high in transit means, well, quite frankly, it means they don't give a shit what team they're playing. okay, they're going to get yards, which transfers into points for you. They're going to get into the end zone. There's very few, and Joe, I'm sure you're going to agree with me that we know there's very few, Joe, of those running backs that it doesn't matter what defense they're playing, they're going to hit you in the mouth. And we've seen exactly that happen with the Buccaneers, Joe. We saw the Buccaneers that had the number one stop run defense. And what happened to them, Joe, last week? With that being said, what happened?
Well, their secondary is terrible.
Right, but that wasn't what the run.
Yeah, they got ran on. You're right.
They
completely
got
right.
And that's just it. Is there's certain running backs, guys, that we're talking about that are few of them that it doesn't matter what your defense is when you have that running back. I wouldn't be afraid to think that Barkley, Zeke, there's a few other ones that I wouldn't be afraid to see them run on any defense that they're playing. I just wouldn't. Okay, here's another example for you, Joe. How about that Baltimore game?
Yeah, Baltimore game. I mean,
look at what we were talking about, Joe. How good was Baltimore against a number one defense?
They were great because they ran the ball. And the thing about the Patriots, they don't run many QB spies. I've never seen them run a QB spy. And Bill Belichick, as I said the last show, he struggles against running quarterbacks. Just look at, Cam Newton when he was great, he beat him 2 times out of 5 years. Lamar Jackson is amazing. Mark Ingram had a great game. They even used Gus Edwards as well. So they ran the ball real effectively. And going back to the Saquon Barkley question, I would do it, but it depends who's on your roster. To be honest, you could probably fill someone in off waivers to replace an Edelman. And I would take the trade, to be honest.
Right. Smart.
Hey, guys, I have 3 people asking the same question.
3 people asking the same question.
Again.
Producer Dave, give it to us.
I got Neil, Joe, and Mike asking Rivers or Ryan.
Rivers or Ryan? You're talking about Rivers or Matt Ryan? That's what I'm guessing. Rivers.
That's what everybody's asking. They're not actually saying first name.
Okay.
Wow.
To me, this is kind of Joe. I'm sitting here scratching over here. Joe.
Yeah, definitely Phillip Rivers.
You guys got to go with Rivers on that.
Yeah, definitely Phil. Okay, so look, the Raiders give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks.
Their secondary guys,
their
think
secondaries.
about that right now. Phillip Rivers is going to go off today. And I'll show you guys in a little bit with my DraftKings. I'll show you my mock draft that I'm putting together. And it's not going to be a mock one. I'm about ready to submit that bad boy. Okay. Phillip Rivers, I'm playing with the captain mode on there. Okay. Now, guys, Phillip Rivers is going to go off today. We already know that. He can throw the ball. He got quick release. Quick release. Remember that. Quick release like a Dan Marino. He's going to get the ball into some people's hands, and he's going to get some points for you. Matty Ice ain't too icy right now, Joe. Matty Ice ain't too icy right now, Joe.
Especially against the Saints. Marshawn Lattimore is probably going to lock up Julio Jones. You got Eli Apple out there. Yeah, I would definitely start Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, definitely start it. So, producer Dave, talk to us here. How's everything going in there?
I got a few more questions here. Let me grab one real quick.
Guys, make sure you're liking producer Dave. I'm going to tell you right now. Joe, you know how important it is having him in here right now.
Hey, Dave is definitely the man.
Thank you, guys. I do what I can, right?
All right, Dave, throw it at us. What do you got here for us?
Emmanuel Sanders. Now, matchup proof. I don't know what the question really means, but
Is it Dave? Not to cut you off here, but Dave, is this coming from the Leap Alive page?
this is actually coming from a football.
Oh,
group
okay, great. So, how's that working out, Dave?
working
Because I know we tried something to give up people the show and get people to be able to be prepared to make some picks here. How's that working out for us, Dave?
pretty awesome actually. I have like 7 or 10 people here actually commenting heavily.
Great. That's great. So, guys, if we can help you, that's what we want to do to help you. This show, if you guys are for your first time tuning into Sports Static is all about the fans. This show was birthed in a bar and grill with a bunch of guys and a couple girls sitting around eating the hot wings, eating nachos with jalapenos and shredded cheese, I said, okay? Talking football like we always do. And you can go to any network, any analytical bozo. I said it, Joe. I said bozo. And you'll get the same stuff. But the guys that talk the stuff the most are the fans, okay? That's you guys, the fans. And you're throwing it at us, the fans. And then, you know what we do. Joe, what do we do when they throw it at us?
We give it back to them.
We throw it right back at them. So, guys, that's what this show is all about. And I want you guys to be comfortable with the fact that that's what this show is, okay? Free to comment. We'll put a number up here a little bit later. You can call the show. I just want you guys to be comfortable and understand that that's what this show actually is. It's a show from the fans to the fans and back to the fans. Sports Static. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Joe, what's up, man?
I want to hear the Emmanuel Sanders question.
Bring the question to us, Dave. Emmanuel Sanders question.
Oh, let me see if I can find it again. There's so many questions.
Maria tuned into the show. Tell Murphman we said hello. It's Maria. Okay. Ian, what's up, bud? I haven't had a chance to say it yet, but Ian is talking about today the weak conference in the AFC is helping the Steelers.
Yep.
Works out great. And you're right, Ian. And that's what was unexpected, Ian. I seriously, it's not just me, okay, sitting here alone, but Joe, I'm sure you feel it the same way too. Did we really expect Cleveland Browns to be where they are right now?
No, that's probably the most surprising team that's just disappointed me and probably the rest of the NFL as well. I thought Odell was going to be great. I thought Baker was going to be great. But it just seems like Odell's getting doubled every game. And
he's starting to have a little bit of a sore butt about it, too.
Yeah.
Ian, you're right. You know what, Ian? I took your advice, okay? And you know what, Ian? I took that Pittsburgh defense, and damn did Pittsburgh defense step up for me last week. Ian, I won $5. I won $5, I said, with that Pittsburgh defense. So thank you, Ian, on that one. The question from the group here, Joe, is Emmanuel Sanders is now matchup proof. Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, you're asking if, is Emmanuel Sanders a factor now is what I'm guessing he's asking, Joe.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Emmanuel Sanders didn't have a quarterback in the Broncos. To be honest with you, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is a very good quarterback. They have a run game. They have an offensive line. Emmanuel Sanders caught a touchdown last game. He definitely had some receptions as well. I think he's a great – and, yeah, he might be matchup proof. I think the 49ers are really good.
Yeah, and I would say absolutely matchup proof. Coming in from Wayne Thompson, Waller or Hunter Henry tonight?
Question.
Waller or Hunter Henry tonight?
Oh, man, that's a really good question. Waller's position 3. I think Hunter Henry is a little, I mean, I would personally go Hunter Henry just because the Raiders give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks, so Rivers is going to be slinging it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And guys, know that right there again. Once again, Rivers. Rivers is going to go off. If you look at the Chargers' record in the first place on the road out of their last 15 games, you got to be impressed in just that alone. But Phillip Rivers with the quick release, if you blitz him, he's going to find somebody open. And the secondary for the Raiders sucks, what we like to say on here, squirrel nuts. And that's just a fact, is that their secondary's weak. And, Joe, you know it. Their secondary's weak. So
they are weak, very weak.
Okay, so let's hit a couple more. Guys, keep them coming. We like the action right now. From MJ Harp, Williams tonight in 14 minutes, or Hollywood or Pascal? Okay, Joe.
Yeah, I like Williams.
Williams.
I like Williams, man.
You like Williams?
Yes. I would start him.
Starting Williams. From Roy Freeze from Roy Freeze. Roy Freeze. I like that name, man. I like it. Just cool, man. As Stuart Scott used to say, Roy Freeze, you're just as cool as the other side of the pillow, my friend. Roy Freeze, Melvin Gordon or David Johnson?
Oh,
Melvin Gordon or David Johnson? Come on, Joe.
Hey, Melvin Gordon, definitely. David Johnson, he's too injury prone. He gets injured all the time. He has bad knees. I'm going Melvin Gordon, even though, Melvin Gordon has also been injured. But if you have Austin Eckler there, I start him as well. He's probably the best handcuff in the NFL.
Joey Kreger. Joey Kreger. Should I start Tyrell over Fitzgerald? Christian Kirk.
That's a really good question. Tyrell Williams or Larry Fitzgerald?
That is a
honestly,
tough one.
I would start Larry Fitzgerald because Cardinals are going against the Bucks. We know how bad the Bucks secondary is.
Guys, if you are a football team and you don't throw the ball against the Bucks, you don't deserve to be coaching in this damn league because the Bucks secondary is the second worst in the NFL right now.
Yep.
Their secondary sucks squirrel nuts, I said. And if you want to win a football game, all you got to do is keep throwing it against the Buccaneers. So if you're doing your fantasy stuff and you see the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guarantee you this, overall the game is going to be a shooting match. But the team that is playing the Buccaneers will get you fantasy points in the air. They will get you fantasy points in the air. And I'm not talking about fantasy points in the air, talking about the Mile High Club here. I'm talking about there's going to be a lot of deep passes and there's going to be a lot of receptions because the Buccaneers secondary, Joe, you know it.
Squirrel nuts.
Squirrel nuts. Okay, so Joe, here is another Joey that's chiming in from Joey Santigate. I hope I said that right. How about Renfro tonight? Joe?
I like Renfro. I mean, last game he actually, there was some production. If you can put him in your flex spot, I'd put him in the flex spot.
Flex? Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, I put him in the flex spot. Guys, I'm trying to keep up with you, and they're flying at us. So, guys, just bear with us as we go through some of this stuff. So, okay, Mike Wagger. He's talking about Gordon tonight or Freeman or Jones. So he's talking about tonight's game with Gordon, or he's talking about Freeman or Jones. And I'll just tell you right now tonight, if I'm thinking about it, hell, man, I'm really, I don't know. I'm kind of liking Gordon. Joe, I don't know. Talk to me.
All right, I'm looking up who the Packers are playing. They're playing the Panthers. Personally, I'd go Melvin Gordon. The second pick, I'd definitely go Aaron Jones. But for running back one, I'd go Melvin Gordon.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, coming right at you right now, Scott. Scott says Rivers or Jacobs at captain tonight. Rivers or Jacobs. And you know what? I'll tell you right now, Scott, that's a tough question. I did one of my lineups with Rivers just because of the fact he's facing the weakness of that secondary. And you know how Phillip Rivers is when he heats up and gets going, especially in the second quarter. Phillip Rivers will just start tearing the shit out of it. Sorry. I hate when I say that. The word is ship high in transit, guys. Phillip Rivers will be starting to tear the ship high in transit out of that pigskin. Yep. It's going downfield, and that secondary is going to get beat up today. So I put him in captain mode. Why? Because I'm going to get a point and a half for everything that he's doing. And Joe, I'm not sure. Joe, talk to me on that one.
I agree. That's a tough question. I think Jacobs is going to do really well tonight, but I wouldn't put him in the captain spot just because you have Joey Bosa on that D-line. You have Melvin Ingram. I mean, those are top NFL pass rushers. So I would put Rivers there.
Not a bad idea putting Rivers there. Like I said, I did it with one of my lineups. So to me, it comes down to a few different things when I'm doing that, guys. A few different things. Obviously, if I'm going to put a quarterback in the captain position, there's only one reason why I'm doing it, and it's just strictly because, well, there's two main factors I pay attention to, guys. I pay attention to somebody's release, how fast they get rid of the ball. Okay, the king of that, obviously, one of them is Brady. But Rivers can get rid of the ball very fast as well. So what happens when you blitz them? Okay, that's what I pay attention to when I'm going to put a quarterback in the captain position, is that how fast can he get rid of the football, because that totally negates that good defensive line. If somebody has a great defensive line and they're going to come after the quarterback, what's the next thing I want to know? How fast does the quarterback get rid of the ball? Because then blitz, go ahead, blitz. I'm calling the audible right now at the line of scrimmage. You're going to blitz. I'm going to dump it off to my running back, my tight end. I'm going to have a receiver do a quick in slant. Okay, I know this. I see your blitz coming. So that's one thing. The second thing I'm going to pay attention to, if I'm putting a quarterback in the captain position, I'm going to pay attention to the secondary that I'm facing. How horrible is this secondary that I'm facing is going to be a key factor to me. So, guys, think about that. Yes, put Rivers in that captain position tonight. Go ahead and grab a handful and put him in there, Joe.
I like it, man. I mean, like I said before, the Raiders give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. So you have to start Rivers. You have to start him.
Okay. Moving right along, guys, we're doing our best to keep up with everybody here. Wow, Joe, this is actually, right now, this is kind of fun, isn't it, Joe? I'm building up. Joe, they're putting it to you tonight.
I like it. Keep them coming.
They're putting it to you tonight right now. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, let's see here. Moving along here from Jordan Sprodling. Did I say that right? Jordan, I'm sorry if I didn't. Tyrell Williams, Gallup this week. I also have Waller going tonight. So, Joe, what do you think, first of all, about him having Waller going tonight?
That's a great pick right there, Waller. I'm looking up. Look, Cowboys are going against the Vikings. The Vikings have a pretty good secondary. I like Anthony Barr in that linebacker spot. I would start. She said Tyrell Williams. I'd start Tyrell Williams.
Yes, Tyrell.
Yeah.
Yes, and so just going ahead and keeping this going here, guys. I want to keep up with you. We have from Stephen Norman. Any touchdowns for Gordon or Henry tonight? Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. I'm telling you right now, I'm liking the way Gordon looks right now. I think Gordon just started playing last week, just this last week, Joe.
Yeah, Gordon's looking really, really good. He had 2 touchdowns the previous game. So,
Impressive touchdowns, if
Yep.
I may say.
Yeah, and Hunter Henry, I think he'll probably get a touchdown as well.
Gordon, when you start getting ready to hurdle people, okay, when you're doing stuff that you're feeling good, when you're rushing up the middle and you're like thinking you're going to jump over somebody's head when they're standing straight up, you're feeling good. And I'm feeling good about you. I mean, so that's good. Chuck Salas, Hunt, start, or bench? This is a good one, Joe.
Is this Kareem Hunt he's talking about?
And that's what I think. If you're talking about Kareem Hunt, and
okay.
Joe, I think he is, and I'm telling you guys this right now. I'm going to start Kareem Hunt for the simple fact that this guy is hungry. He wants the ball. He's had to have been thinking, I'm going to make a huge impact. He has had to have been conditioned and wanting to play this game. He grew up loving and then watching it from a sideline, okay? Having a new team he's with, hasn't got to show anything. I don't know, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you tell me.
Hey, man, it might be a little risky, but, I mean, the Browns are what? I mean, their record's not that great. I mean, Nick Chubb plays a lot, but why not put him in the flex position, see what he does? I'd start him, man.
Okay, so coming from the YouTube channel, and thanks, producer Dave. I do appreciate you. Dave, turn around for a second.
Sure.
Man, Dave, you're working hard tonight, buddy.
I am.
You're working hard. Keep it going, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so producer Dave in the back there working hard, trying to keep on every platform. From Raymond Sotelo from the YouTube channel, Chris Carson versus the Niners, or Melvin Gordon, or Eckler tonight. Standard pick, Joe. Let me run that by you one more time, Joe, before I go to you, okay? This is from Raymond Sotelo. Chris Carson versus the Niners, or, and hang on a second because these are flying in at me. I almost lost them. Chris Carson versus the Niners, or Melvin Gordon, or Eckler tonight. Standard pick. Joe.
Right.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, I would not start Chris Carson because we've seen what the 49ers defensive line looks. I mean, Nick Bosa is an absolute animal. I would definitely start Melvin Gordon out of the three. I mean, I would also start Eckler as well. But, I mean, literally, if you have a running back one, I'd start Melvin Gordon. If you could put Austin Eckler in that flex spot, that's what I would do.
All right, so here we go. You know what I like about this is that Dino's back, okay? Dino, with your earlier question about the Barkley, okay, so here's Dino's scenario, Joe, okay?
Yeah.
Dino, he's saying, I asked about the Barkley trade earlier. Yes, you did, my friend. And he said he may throw in Hollywood Brown or D. Williams from Kansas City with Barkley. Who would you rather have? That's a pretty tough
That's
question.
a really tough question. I actually have Damian Williams in my fantasy league, and it's like this guy either gets literally 5 points or he might get 20 points because he might get a touchdown. It depends what league you're in. You know, if you're going PPR, I'd probably go John Brown, to be honest with you. Hollywood Brown, because he's so fast. He's so fast, he might get you a touchdown. Damian Williams, you know, it's a three-headed monster in Kansas City, so I'd go Hollywood Brown.
Nice. Okay, so moving right along here, guys. I want to try to get everybody in that I can. Let's see here what we got. Matt Martinez says D. Johnson or D. Freeman and Rivens or Winston. That's a tough question.
Who or Winston?
Rivers or Winston. PPR.
Well, I'd go Rivers tonight. Definitely go Rivers tonight. Who's the running back questions?
He had D. Johnson or D. Freeman. I'm definitely, guys. For me, I'd
go Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman. Definitely, I would go Freeman. And I agree with Joe. I would also go with Rivers tonight. Moving right along here, let's keep this going from Neil. Neil Konovica. I hope I said that right. Neil, man, these names, guys. How about Carr or Ryan? Carr or Ryan? I would personally, because of what I've seen this far, going into Week 10, Carr. Derek Carr, to me, has been looking great, Joe.
Completely agree. Derek Carr.
Okay, so moving right along, and Joe, I'll stay right with you here. Mike says Melvin Gordon or OBJ in full point PPR, Joe.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon, definitely. Running backs get more than wide receivers. Odell Beckham's not even been getting the ball, so
He
definitely
hasn't.
Melvin Gordon.
And I couldn't agree with you more on that one. Mike Weger wants to say Gordon tonight or Ronald Jones.
Oh, man.
That's a good one, Joe.
Hey, for all the new viewers, I'm a huge Bucs fan. Ronald Jones is actually starting over Peyton Barber now. However, I'd have to go Melvin Gordon.
I like the curveball that you put in there at the end, Joe. And I would be going Gordon on that as well. From Ryan Obie, Everett or Waller, Joe? Everett or Waller?
All right, let me check who the Rams play.
Okay, so checking who the Rams play is the key there. While he's doing that, I'm going to queue up a couple other things here for us, guys, because I want to keep us on top of things.
Oh, okay. I'd start Waller. The Steelers secondary has been looking good. I like Minka Fitzpatrick in that secondary. Yeah, I'd start Waller.
Starting Waller. Okay, so you got it there, guys. Okay, guys, so we're getting close now. And when I say we're getting close, I mean we're getting close to that Thursday night football. So what I really want to do is I'd like to be able to go ahead and show you guys a little bit from the DraftKings stuff. So, guys, I know you're probably going to be chiming in, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. Yes, I do. But we're going to switch it up just a little bit so we can go into DraftKings so that we can go ahead and get everybody involved in this. So, guys, here we go. Our fantasy moment here. Boom, boom, boom. Guys, it's your fantasy, so whatever that fantasy is, fantasy picks are coming at you right now. And, guys, here's what I want to do for you. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for chiming in with all your questions. hey, this is, like I said before, at the beginning of the show, it's all about the fans. That's you guys. You're throwing it at us, and we're the fans too. And then we throw it back at you. And as fans working together like we do at any bar and grill, like we done growing up in bleachers, in the stands, everywhere, this is what the real talk's all about, guys. It's all about fans to the fans, and you know how that is, guys. What I want to do here is I want to pull up my DraftKings thing that I'm doing here so I can go over this with some of the people that are actually playing DraftKings along with me. And I'm going to, when I show you guys this, I'm actually showing you one that I just went ahead and picked. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to see what I actually picked. So here we go. Take a look at this, guys. This is what I've actually done here. I went with Rivers, and Rivers came in as my captain here, like we talked about. I went with Rivers, and I know there's things that you guys can do here that are better than what I'm doing, okay, on this. I know you can, but I play several lines. I'm showing you one of them, okay? And I left some money on the table. So when I'm going Rivers, right away I'm going in here, and if you look at see what I'm doing here, my second pick coming in at a $9,000 is I went with Keenan Allen. All right, when I'm looking at Keenan Allen, his last game he only had 3 receptions with 4 targets and 40 yards. Okay, but again, and Joe, we talked about this earlier, Joe. Again, we're talking about that, but Joe, who are we facing here, and who is Keenan Allen facing today?
Right, the Raiders secondary, which is really bad.
So that's exactly why, guys, today on what I did is I went ahead and I took Keenan Allen because I'm expecting a lot. And if you look at the next flex position I have here, look who I took at $7,000. I took Eckler. Now, when I'm taking Eckler, Joe, why in the world would I take Eckler when he's got another running back in there that's looking to get a load tonight?
I mean, I've been saying it all year. I think he's the best handcuff in football, and honestly, some games he gets more volume than Melvin Gordon.
And that is exactly the point there, Joe, because the last game he had 12 attempts that he got 70 yards. He averaged 5.8 yards. Okay, so guys, that's why right there. And Joe, you got to think that's a pretty good move, Joe.
I like it.
So guys, when I'm doing some of this, and I know, guys, it's not the holy grail here, okay? You got to play a couple different lines and play around with this stuff a little bit. I'm just feeling good about Eckler because I'm thinking the way they're going to use him is more as a wide receiver today, and mix it up with them, and I'm kind of confident in that happening. So yes, I took Eckler in here. We're straight DraftKings right now, guys. And then look who I took, guys, at a $7,200 price tag. I took Melvin Gordon. Now, why did I take Melvin Gordon when I already got Eckler, Joe? Why in the world would I do that?
Hey, this is a great duo of running backs. They both produce on the field, so that's a good move.
And Joe, and just like we just said, which is crazy, and you just said it, Joe, the duo of running backs, one of the best, because after what I just told you, Eckler accumulated his last game. How about the last game with 20 attempts and 80 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns for Gordon? When you have him doing that and Eckler with punching out those 80 yards, guys, wow, if you can start them both, then it's not a bad thing to do, is it, Joe?
No, that's a great move.
Okay, so moving right along, guys, because I want you guys to be able to see what I actually did here before I submit it, because you got to submit these things. And there you have it right there in the next flex position. I have Waller. I love this kid, Waller. Guys, you know what? Joe, have you been seeing what this kid's been doing?
Yep, he's been doing a lot.
Guys, here's what I like about this. This is a feel-good story. Okay, this guy has had his struggles in the NFL. Forget the NFL. This guy's had his struggles in life, okay? He's had his struggles in life. He's overcome addiction, a lot of other things. The Raiders gave him a chance, okay? And you know what? Sometimes you see chances after chances after chances. I can tell you about a particular player that was playing for the Patriots a couple of weeks ago, and now he's somewhere else. We all know who I'm talking about when I mention the name Josh, don't we? Okay, but Waller is a great talent, and I am so happy after watching and getting to feel like I know him a little bit better in Hard Knocks, the HBO special. They put a little backstory to the guy, and I am just so happy to see what this kid's doing. Now, he only had 2 receptions last week, but do you understand he had 52 yards with those 2 receptions? So I'm looking for him to do something today. I think he's on a right now, I think we're going to see Carr and Waller make some connections today. Joe, am I wishful thinking because of the feel-good story here?
No, I like it. And if you actually look at Waller's yards after contact, he's one of the top in the league. So I think that's a good move.
All right. So, guys, moving right along here, this is where my lineup gets cheesy because I only had like $3,000 left. And so with $3,000 left, I went with my last flex position. I went with Zay Jones. And Zay Jones had 3 receptions and 4 targets for 21 yards, okay? Now, that's not very impressive, you would say. No, that's not very impressive. I'm hoping, Joe, that the other guys I picked up, this guy doesn't even have to be a factor, I said, Joe.
Hey, I like it. I really like it, John. It's kind of like out of the blue, you know? I think Zay Jones actually has some production today. Or this weekend.
And so, guys, there it is right there. I did this one right here. It's my $10 one I entered. I'm just, I'm cheesy or cheap. Call it what you want. I'm going to hit my enter button so that I can enter this. I would suggest if you guys are looking at the clock that you're going to go ahead, hit your enter button as well, and boom. There we go. I hope that let it go. I didn't see. Enter this. Boom. I don't need to do a bulk one. Okay, guys. Anyway, there we go. Boom. Enter now. Bam. There we go. Okay, guys. Anyway, Joe, how you feeling?
John, I like that lineup, man.
Okay. You like the lineup. Guys, I'm going to get back now because I'm sure we're missing some stuff here. And then there's some people that are probably blowing up the other platforms right now. So let me get back to some of these platforms, Joe. Be ready to go. Okay? I'm going to try to back it up to where we were, Joe, so that I can get all these guys in there. Let's see. How far back do I have to go? Oh, there we go. From Mike, Melvin Gordon or OBJ in full point PPR. We said that one?
Yeah, Melvin Gordon.
Okay, and we got that one. Ryan Obi, Everett, or Waller.
Got that one.
Okay, Dino from Dino. Okay, we're back because Dino now is saying awesome stuff, guys. Thank you. Dino, you're welcome. You're very welcome. And, hey, thanks for coming back and saying, hey, wait a second, guys. I got a shift in gears here. Thank you, and we appreciate you being part of the show this evening, Dino. Ian, Rams play the Steelers.
Yep.
Isn't it odd for Ian to come on and say something about the Steelers, Joe?
Oh, man, it blows my mind.
It's just crazy for Ian to come on and say something about the Steelers. What's with the Steelers and Ian all of a sudden? I don't get it. Dave, producer Dave, how you feeling back there, producer Dave? Is everything working out great for you?
Everything is awesome tonight, guys. We got a lot of people coming in through YouTube and the other pages on Facebook, and we have a group, football fantasy group, that is doing amazing right now.
All right, so producer Dave, if you could turn around for 1 second for me, my friend. Producer Dave, do me a huge favor, my friend.
Yes.
Could you go ahead in the comment section on all these platforms and put in the sports static link for me so we can try to get some of these guys to like this for us so that they're tuned in? Awesome. Thank you, producer Dave. Guys, we're having a good time with you tonight. Joe, how you doing? Are you sweating on the show yet, Joe?
I feel good, man. I like the questions.
I like them. They're coming in on freaking fire. We made a little bit of a strategy move tonight to kind of test us out a little bit, Joe, and it seems as the strategy is quite honestly paying off pretty good, so it's good to know. Now, moving right along here, from Raymond Sotella, YouTube. Thanks, guys. By the way, hey, Raymond, you're welcome, and thank you for being part of the Sports Static Show. We appreciate you. Raymond, if you get a chance, what I'd like you to know, Raymond, is to look for Sports Static, okay? Look for Sports Static on Facebook and like us there as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel that you're on. Thank you, Raymond. And he says, by the way, my other running back is Derrick Henry versus the Chiefs. I'm starting him. Thanks for Gordon. I'm subscribing. And there you go, right there. And he's subscribing. Thank you, Raymond. Joe, what do you think about what Raymond's saying there?
I like what he's saying. I would start Derrick Henry as well.
Good move there. So sticking with you, Joe, I'm going to throw some right at you, Joe. From Connor S. on YouTube. Welcome to the YouTube channel, Connor. Connor, if you'd be so kind to hit that subscribe button and also find Sports Static on Facebook and like us there. Connor, Keenan Allen or Jalen Samuels in the flex?
Yeah, definitely Keenan Allen because, I mean, like we said, Raiders give up the most points to quarterbacks. Their secondary is terrible, so I would start Keenan Allen.
And I agree with you 100%. They're giving up the most fantasy points, the Raiders are. So, yes, I would definitely say to go with Keenan Allen as well as I did from Arnold Callahan. I love the name Callahan. It reminds me of the Dirty Harry movies. Clint Eastwood, that was Callahan. And, man, go ahead. I tell you what, punk. Huh? You feeling lucky? Go ahead, punk. Make my day. Callahan, I like it. Eckler or Singletary? Eckler or Singletary coming at you, Joe?
Yeah, that's actually a good question because I told people to start Frank Gore last week, and Singletary took the carries from him. But I would start Eckler. I know it's going to be kind of weird to start Eckler, but, you know, I think he's the best handcuff in the NFL, and we just don't know what the Bills' running back is. Frank Gore going to get most of the carries or is Singletary? So I'd start Eckler.
Moving right along and a quick stop off at Zane. Welcome to the show. Tim saying, would you start L. Murray, Joe Mixon? I mean, I got or Larry Fitzgerald. Or Larry Fitzgerald. Joe.
Okay, I think Kamara's back this week, so I would go Mixon, personally.
Mixon. You heard it right there. Okay, so, Joe, I'm staying with you from Ryan Obi.
I mean, Kamara. Yeah, Kamara's fine.
Kamara is playing, yes. Okay, from Ryan Obi, Hollywood Brown or Pascal?
I like Hollywood Brown.
And
yeah,
I
like
have
Hollywood
to say,
Brown.
I like Hollywood Brown, too, just because of his name. I mean, come on now.
All right.
How in the hell can you not be a winner when your name is Hollywood Brown? That's what I'm trying to say, Joe. You feel me?
I feel you, man.
All right, moving along here, guys. Thanks. Man, we just caught up, and I'm sure we're going to get an entourage coming back at us. Guys, pretty soon I want you to know we've got just about 12 minutes left in the show, guys. That's it. And then at 8:40, guys, we start our NBA show at 8:40. So I really want you guys to be ready for that because it's something that we're really happy to have started. We waited a long time to start this show, so I want you guys to be ready for that new basketball show that we're doing that actually starts at 8:40. Joe, I know you're ready for that.
Oh, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to talk some Lakers.
Ready to talk some Lakers. So, Joe, with now that you're here right with us on camera, one of the bigger upsets for you last week, did you just hit that real quick, Joe?
Oh, well, the Packers lost to the Chargers. That was a huge
And not
upset.
just lost. They got it
yeah.
handed to them, Joe.
Yeah, they got to hand it to them. I mean, the Chargers defense looked great, man, against Aaron Rodgers, who was throwing 5-6 touchdowns. I mean, they just neutralized them. The Chargers, I think they're top 10 secondary, so Chargers look great.
The Chargers did look great. I mean, Joe, what happened to Aaron Rodgers is insinuating that they went to L.A. and got a little bit happy at night, and they weren't focused, Joe. I mean, what happened that first half, Joe?
Seemed like the same thing happened to the Patriots, so, I mean, they just couldn't get anything going. I mean, the defense looked great. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and I think when they got Thomas Davis from the Panthers, I mean, that defense is good. So, yeah.
I mean, the defense is good, but, I mean, I was just a little bit like, what in the world happened there, Joe?
I mean, their defense, they were running a different scheme. So, Rodgers, I guess, couldn't figure it out, and the rookie head coach, I guess, couldn't figure it out. It seemed like Rodgers didn't do anything. They couldn't get the run game going, so, you know, they take an L if that happens.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I'm looking for something that I can't find right now, Joe. Producer Dave, how is it going back there, my friend?
Everything is a little more calm.
I think the game started up on them, so they calmed down a little bit, right?
To watch the game.
That's what they did. So they calmed down to watch the game, and that gave us a little bit of a break there. I'm looking for boom.
Ian's still with us.
Of course, Ian's still with us. We know that. What's up, Ian?
What up?
Okay, Joe. Talked about one of the upsets with the Green Bay Packers. What else was it that really surprised you? And hold it down for me for a minute so I can find what I'm looking for.
Hey, Ian, since you're here, I'll talk about the Steelers-Colts game. I mean, wow. Vinatieri misses like a 43-yarder or something like that. Brissett gets injured. You got lucky, man. You got to admit it, you got lucky. But, the Steelers do look good. And I do have them, actually, I'll just say my prediction. I have them beating the Rams. So.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Yep. Upset.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty,
I'm not
is,
down him.
Ian's got to be happy as ship high in transit right now. I mean, Ian has to be, Tampa Bay almost had it.
Yeah.
You know, Ian, Tampa Bay's always going to almost have it because if Jameis is not making foolish mistakes.
Like he did?
Oh, how did Jameis
I mean,
go like this
ridiculous.
And the ball just, aside from that, he did have a good game still. He's putting up some numbers, okay? I mean, come on. You got Evans. I think he should have spread the ball around a little bit more. But anyway, long story short, they should be in every game if Jameis is playing a smart game and not turning it over. If Jameis Winston didn't have all these turnovers, we would be in every game and have several more wins. Joe, I mean, am I just hypothetically speaking, or is that factual stuff?
The funny thing is he has all those turnovers and we're still in the games. We're still in the games. We should have beaten the Seattle Seahawks, who are a really good team. Jameis, he just makes crucial errors, and it's, as I said before, it's frustrating, man. Frustrating.
And you know what? I'll tell you this right now, which Ian's letting us know, is that, yes, there's Kool-Aid stains on the lips. Yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, Fitzpatrick got the win. And I'm looking right now, and guess who's the only one that took Miami, Joe?
Yeah,
Who
Ian,
was
right?
the only one that took Miami? It was Ian.
Yeah.
And Ian's sitting at home right now with Kool-Aid stains all over his lips because Fitzmagic handed out the Kool-Aid and Ian drank it. Good job on that one. They finally got their win. Man, that's good for those guys. That is really good for those guys. They deserved it. And Joe, we were talking so much about that on the show Sunday morning that these guys, yes, they're accused of tanking, the Miami Dolphins, just because of some of the trades they made. But as far as the guys on the field, Joe, I mean, you can't sit there and say guys that come on the field are trying to lose. These guys are playing their asses off. And so I'm happy for them to get that win. And, they might not have the great personnel on the Miami Dolphin team, but you got to give them an A for effort, Joe. I mean, give them an A for effort.
I do, man. Fitzmagic came to play.
Fitzmagic did come to play. And when he does that, you know what it is, Joe, with Fitzmagic, is he's got the cojones, okay?
He does,
to throw the ball up there. And it's going to the game's going to turn out in the way that it turns out. But one thing for sure is a fact here is that you're not going to say that he was afraid to throw the ball down the field and make a big play, Joe.
Nope, he wasn't. He'll throw it up there, and, Preston Williams is a good receiver on that team, so, he usually gets it. So, Fitzmagic, it's either Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. Last week it was Fitzmagic.
Wow, Joe, I like that one. Fitzmagic or Fitztragic. We need to come up with something like that. I mean, we seriously do. Now, the thing is what I don't know about, okay, and what I will tell you this for sure, is I'm hoping now, what I'm hoping for is that because that happened, now all of a sudden what? We're going to get some people that are thinking now all of a sudden they're going to jump on Miami when they weren't there before, Joe. So all these Miami fans that are probably sitting there going, oh, Miami sucks. They suck squirrel nuts. Well, what we're hoping for, Joe, is that now everybody's going to do the same thing that we see all the time, Joe, and you know we see it all the time. You know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. You do. Joe, they're going to jump on the bandwagon. That's what they're going to do, Joe. Jumping on the bandwagon. And, guys, there it is for you right there. The bandwagon. And there's plenty of room there for you guys in the back over there. Plenty of room. Jump right on. We can even pull those tarps off for you, and you can jump on that bandwagon, too. I mean, that there's plenty of room there for you. But, guys, here's the thing. You jump on the bandwagon. One thing we want to make sure of when you jump on that bandwagon, I don't want to see you guys come back next week, okay? And now you're getting on the bandwagon, and then you're going to put all your money, and you're going to make a big bet, okay? When you make that big bet, what I don't want to see you do is I don't want to see you come back next week, and then next week you're coming back, and you're, we don't want to see that, okay? Don't start crying like a baby when all of a sudden you drank the Kool-Aid and you got the Kool-Aid stains around your lips. Don't come back crying like a baby. So anyway, just want to put that out there. I do appreciate your enthusiasm. I do appreciate you drinking the Kool-Aid. Tread lightly, my friends.
I like it, man. And yet, don't cry like a baby like Antonio Brown's been doing. You see what he's doing on Twitter again, John?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, that guy. Ridiculous.
It's actually, it's kind of sad. I mean, it's pathetic. But he forgot that football's been around for a couple years, hasn't it, Joe? I mean, football's been around for a couple years. Yeah,
and the thing is, like, people just forget about you. Now they're gonna remember Antonio Brown as the guy that told the NFL to screw off, and now he's never gonna play there again. So
ouch. And Joe's saying that now Cincy has the first pick. Well, right now they do. Cincy's looking really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Cincy's looking bad, Joe.
Yeah, they have the first pick. Go get Tua. Honestly, if I was Tua, I wouldn't even enter the draft. You either go to Miami or the Bengals.
And that's the thing that's kind of scary about it is if you are Tua, I mean, it's bad news. Dave, producer Dave, turn around one more time for us here. Sure. Guys, check out producer Dave. He just put a link in there in the field for you. Dave handles all our graphics here on the show. So many of them I couldn't show you this time around. But Dave handles all your design needs. You can find his link right in the thread of the comments right there. So, Dave, we, again, appreciate your help, my friend. Joe, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
We're about ready to close it down, Joe. Your final thoughts, my friend?
Final thoughts. I got the Chargers winning tonight. Rivers goes off. So you got to start him in that captain spot. And that's my bold prediction.
Rivers is going off. You're making the bold prediction, which I tremendously like. Guys, first and foremost, what I want to do, I want to thank everybody that was part of the show, Sports Static, today. Guys, if you go to Facebook, producer Dave has put the link for you. If you were on YouTube, well, please put it there. Make sure you like Sports Static. If you guys were watching from Lipa Live, wherever you were watching at Lipa Live or Sports Static, like it, guys. Let us know that you like this so we can bring this show to you again next week. We are actually going to be live at 10:30 a.m. Sundays, 7:30 p.m. on Thursdays, each and every week. Joe, your final thoughts before I send this off.
Hey, man. I hope we helped with your fantasy picks, and you have to tune in Sunday because we'll help you even more to win that DraftKings and, most importantly, win that money.
Awesome. Joe, have a good Thursday night. Actually, we're probably going to go get some wings in a little bit. Guys, stay tuned. Following this show, immediately after this, we are going to the new NBA A show. Everybody, peace out. We will see you Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Have a great game, guys.